Today's topic is highly relevant for Mains 2026, Fiscal Consolidation versus Multiplier Enhancing Capital Expenditure, a CLAF in GS Paper 3 dilemma that appeared in recent budget and the Economic Survey 2025-26. Conceptual clarity, fiscal consolidation and capital expenditure. What is fiscal consolidation? Well, it's the government's effort to reduce the fiscal deficit and stabilize the debt-to-GDP ratio. For the financial year 2026-27, the target is to bring the fiscal deficit down to 4.3% of GDP, which is a slight decrease from 4.4% in the revised estimates for 2025-26. The medium-term goal is to reduce outstanding liabilities to around 50% of GDP by the year 2031, down from 55.6% in 2026-27. So what exactly is capital expenditure, or CAPEX? Well, it's basically spending that creates assets, like infrastructure, roads, railways, or even defense CAPEX, or, reduces liabilities. For the financial year 2026-2027, the allocation stands at rupees 12.2 lakh crore, which is a 9% increase from rupees 11.2 lakh crore in the previous year. FY 2025-2026. As a percentage of GDP, it remained steady at about 3.1%, unchanged from the previous year. The idea here is that every rupee spent on CAPEX generates more than 1 rupee in economic activity. This happens through direct employment, like in construction and manufacturing, and also through indirect demand for things like steel, cement, and logistics. The core dilemma for policymakers is this: should India prioritize fiscal consolidation, which means reducing borrowing and signaling credibility to markets? Or should it boost CAPEX to stimulate growth, create jobs, and leverage the multiplier effect? Okay, so let's talk about why fiscal consolidation really matters. First, there's debt sustainability. High deficits actually lead to higher interest payments. These are expected to make up about 26% of total government expenditure in financial year 2026-2027. Then, there's inflation control. You see, excess borrowing by the government can actually fuel inflation, which is something we all want to avoid. Another point is international credibility. Fiscal consolidation signals macroeconomic stability to rating agencies and investors, which is super important for attracting investment. And finally, there's the legal mandate. Compliance with the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act is not just a good practice, it's actually required by law. Let's look at arguments for capital expenditure. First up is the growth multiplier. Capital expenditure actually has a much higher multiplier than revenue spending, with estimates ranging from 2.5 to 4 times. Then, there's the infrastructure gap. India needs about 7% of its GDP in infrastructure investment, but right now, public capital expenditure is only at 3.1%. Public infrastructure spending also crowds in private investment, like when the government builds roads, it enables logistics parks and in turn boosts manufacturing. And of course, capital expenditure generates employment, both directly in construction and indirectly in ancillary industries. So, let's compare both approaches side by side. Fiscal consolidation has an immediate impact by reducing the deficit and stabilizing debt, while capital expenditure boosts GDP and creates jobs right away. In the long term, fiscal consolidation leads to a lower interest burden and can even result in a credit rating upgrade. Meanwhile, capital expenditure increases the country's productive capacity and expands the tax base. But each approach comes with its own risks. Fiscal consolidation can slow down growth if it's overdone, and capital expenditure can raise debt sustainability concerns if it's not kept in check. For financial year 2026-2027, the fiscal deficit is projected to be 4.3% of GDP, while capital expenditure is set at 12.2 lakh crore rupees, which is a 9% increase over the previous year. So let's decode budget 2026-27 through this lens. Let's take a closer look at some fiscal consolidation indicators. The fiscal deficit stands at 4.3% of GDP, which is actually down from 4.4% in the revised estimates for financial year 2025-27. The revenue deficit remains unchanged at 1.5% of GDP. The primary deficit has come down to 0.7%. compared to 0.8% earlier. And the outstanding liabilities are at 55.6% of GDP, with a target to bring this down to around 50% by 2031. Now moving on to the capital expenditure push. The total CAPEX is at rupees 12.2 lakh crore, which is an increase of about 11.5% over the previous year's revised estimates. CAPEX loans to states are at rupees 1.85 lakh crore, and these are interest-free. Looking at the major CAPEX sectors, defense capital outlay is at rupees 2.19 lakh crore, up by 17.6%. Railways get rupees 2.81 lakh crore, which is a 10.1% rise. Roads and highways are allocated rupees 3.10 lakh crore, up by 7.9%. And the Jal Jeevan Mission sees a significant jump to rupees 67,670 crore, which is an increase of 298% over the revised estimates. So let's talk about the balancing act here. Revenue expenditure growth is at 6.6%, which covers things like salaries, pensions, and interest payments. On the other hand, capital expenditure growth is at 11.5%. That's almost double the growth rate of revenue expenditure. What this really means is that the government is consolidating fiscally by reducing the deficit, but at the same time, it's protecting capital expenditure, which is known for its high multiplier effects on the economy. It's honestly a pretty balanced approach. Answer writing structure. This is super important if you want to score well in the exam. Here's what an ideal answer structure looks like. Start with an introduction of about 30 words, where you define both terms and state the apparent trade-offs. In body part 1, spend around 100 words presenting the tension between fiscal deficit target and the need for capital expenditure. Then, in body part 2, use another 100 words to show how capital expenditure can actually complement fiscal consolidation, like how it leads to growth, which then brings in higher tax revenue, and that helps with fiscal consolidation. And finally, wrap it up with a conclusion of about 20 words, giving a balanced view. Basically, how India's budget for FY 26 to 27 manages to achieve both goals. So here's your chance. Identifies your conceptual gaps, structural issues, and keyword deficiencies in real time. Aspirants, Sosin IAS Academy is the only institute in India offering an AI-powered answer evaluation platform for UPSC preparation. Here's why this matters. Instant feedback, no waiting for mental review. You get evaluation in seconds. Personal life insights help you identify specific weaknesses, like missing data, poor structure, or maybe a weak conclusion. You also get benchmarking, so you can compare your answer with topper templates and model answers. Plus, there's continuous improvement since you can track your progress over time with performance analytics. This economy series is designed not just to inform, but to transform your answer writing. Watch this video and note key budget. Attempt the answer on Sosin IAS website. The link is in the description. Get instant AI evaluation and improve your weak areas. Join our Telegram group for daily quizzes and peer discussion. Subscribe to Sosin IAS YouTube for Topic 7 next week. Remember, UPSC Mains is not about what you know. It's about how you present it. And honestly, presentation improves only with practice plus feedback. Sosin IAF gives you both.